That is a reported infatuation of team owner Jerry Jones. Stephen, during that appearance on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, asked about his father's infatuation with Kyle Pitts. Here's the answer.
Certainly, given his view on, what a unique football player Kyle Pitts is. He's a unique matchup player, and certainly if you look at the Chiefs and the 49ers and the way New England's utilized them over the years, these mismatched tight end players can certainly make a big difference in offensive football. And I think you'd be hard-pressed, I think, to find anyone who knows football personnel-wise in the NFL, coaches that can't see a vision for what, the problems a player like Kyle Pitts could present. I think he's a unique player that doesn't come around every year, and certainly Jerry was just acknowledging that.
And look, no one is going to tell us exactly what they're planning to do or whether it was my first reaction was somebody in the organization who doesn't want Jerry to take Kyle Pitts or trade up to take Kyle Pitts is leaking that out there so Kyle Pitts isn't available for them to take because they have other needs. The last thing they need is a pass catcher when you've got Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. But regardless, Pitts is a special player. And there's a chance. There's a chance he'll be there at 10. There's a chance he could be in striking distance if they want to jump up to get him. But, the Cowboys, as we mentioned, they've got plenty of needs. They have some very good players. But to be the team that they continuously are hyped to be year in and year out, they've got some work that needs to be done. And that's why I don't rule out a trade down, really. I'm a very big believer. If you're a team that's got multiple needs, I say stockpile lottery tickets because every one of those tickets, if you trust your board, every one of those tickets can end up being a good player. And the more good players, obviously, no matter how many holes you have, the more good players you come out of any draft with, the better off you're going to be, Charean.
Yeah, Mike, I don't profess to be an expert at the draft. I watch college football, but I don't study it like these experts do. But everyone keeps telling me that the 2022 and 2023 drafts are going to be way better than this draft. So why not, if you do have multiple needs, you have a young coach who you think is going to be there a while, a young quarterback who's going to be there a while, why not move down and stockpile those picks? You still could come out of this draft with 2 defensive starters and multiple picks, 2022, 2023, and I just think that would be a great move for them unless there's a guy you're dying to take. The Cowboys, unlike many teams, do not hide their intentions. For years, the players they brought in on those 30 visits that they got in past years, they were going to take a player out of that group that they brought in. Morris Claiborne was the only guy that they didn't bring in that they ended up drafting. That was only because they traded up to get him, and obviously they should not have drafted him where they did. I think he was the 6th overall pick that year. But they never try to hide their intentions. And Jerry Jones had talked a lot about his love for Johnny Manziel before that draft. He wanted to draft Johnny Manziel. He said that he wanted to draft Johnny Manziel, and they talked him out of that. So it will be interesting to me, and I would love to see if Kyle Pitts is on the board when the Cowboys draft, if Jerry gets his way and drafts Kyle Pitts, or if they talk him out of that, trade down, do something else, draft a defensive player, whatever they end up doing. Kyle Pitts could go on and be an all-pro, great tight end that everybody says he thinks he's going to be, but how many targets is he going to get in Dallas? You just used a first-round pick on CeeDee Lamb last year. That would probably mean at that point you're trading one of those receivers, more likely Michael Gallup, who's in the last year of his rookie deal just because of his contract, but you're probably trading him is what you're ending up doing if you get Kyle Pitts, Mike.
I don't think Amari Cooper's going to be around after this year either. That's another factor in that. And you're right,
agreed.
Claiborne was the 6th overall pick back in 2012. I remember Jerry being smitten with Darren McFadden in 2008. He had never drafted anyone from Arkansas during his time as owner of the team. Went with Felix Jones, Darren McFadden's backfield teammate in Arkansas in round 1 that year because they weren't nearly high enough to get Darren McFadden, who was the 4th overall pick of the Raiders. What do they do? You mentioned Manziel in 2014. What do they do to talk him out of it? Because at the end of the day, if he wants to call rank, he's holding the pink slip on the franchise. I want Johnny Manziel. I'm taking Johnny Manziel. What do they do to talk him off the ledge?
Well, that was really the first year, Mike, that he started listening to his scouts, right? They had been so bad at drafting, and he listened, and he said, what about Johnny Manziel? And it was crickets in the room at that point. According to what a scout told me, nobody said anything about Johnny Manziel. And then they all of a sudden start talking about Zach Martin, which obviously has been the best pick that they could have made at that point. The guy's on his way to a Hall of Fame career if he can stay healthy a couple more years. So that was the pick to make at that point. But that was the point, I think, Mike, that he really started listening to Stephen Jones and to all those scouts in the room and not trying to do it on his own, figuring out that, all right, they know better than me. They study this stuff year round. I'm just here to lend an ear to what they have to say.
It just occurred to me after all these years that maybe it was an extra large tumbler of Johnny Walker Blue that got Jerry Jones to forget about Johnny Manziel. That may have been the answer, and they may need more Johnny Walker Blue to get him to forget about Kyle Pitts on draft night just 9 days away.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.